everybody, and welcome to the EHS Express podcast. This is episode 4, if I'm correct, and I'm hosting today with Mason Beiser and a very special guest, probably the most important guest we've had in a while, Mr. Schroeder, principal of EHS. You want to introduce yourself?
Hello. Thanks for having me.
I mean, everyone knows you as the school principal, but do you want to say something that you want everybody to know?
I think probably the thing worth knowing is I've been here for 2 years, but I've been in Elkhorn for 11, so I've been around for a while. But it's been really good being over here, especially these last 2 years. And so, while today's kind of been a crazy day, it's other than that, it's been a really good move.
First day starting off with the mask mandate, so I mean, we'll see how.
Yeah, did you guys schedule this? Did you know this was coming?
No, we did not know this was coming.
That was just crazy how when we had Miss Viel and the audio got messed up on that, we just talked about this off camera, but how on our script we talked about will masks come back? Will they stay a decision? And then now we're here recording again in masks, but
we could still go into discussion about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Here's what I'd say. Even at the board, we had a board meeting on Monday, and even as of Monday, optional masking was still where we were. You saw some districts like Westside and Millard who did change at the start of semester 2. OPS has not changed. I'm not certain where Bellevue is at. I would have to look at that, but that is how rapid everything has been. Just this week is we had our board meeting Monday night. Masks are still optional. Tuesday you get the directive from Dr. Hughes, and here's where we are. So where will we be in a couple weeks? I don't know, but I assure you that it'll be. It's every day. It is weekly monitoring. We haven't. None of this has been. This is the way it is for the rest of the year, for the rest of the semester, by any means. But unfortunately, where we've got a state and a county that are kind of at odds right now, the school ends up in the middle of that, which isn't super fun, but at the end of the day, we're here and we're at school and we're in person, which I think is a win.
Yeah.
So,
because compared to Zoom last year, like online schooling, it was definitely more rough to stay focused in school. Whereas now, even though there's masks and like not everybody's comfortable with it, I feel like it's a much better environment than it is to be working at home.
Yeah, and I think as I see 2 teachers in here, that it was obviously the spring of 2020, just learning on Zoom. There's not a person who did it who would think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
And I think a testament to how much Elkhorn has wanted kids here in person is when some places decided not to come back last year, we said we've got to. And so we were one of the first districts to say we were going to be back in person. And so then when we did the dual platform last year, it was just, I would tell you, it was one, and most importantly, it was harder for kids to learn at home than it is in here. This is where we're best at teaching you. And 2, it was really hard on teachers too, because you basically were making 2 lesson plans a day, and it's already a full-time job. And so I know one of the biggest things that Dr. Haybrock was adamant about, and we were adamant about when we came back, was we don't want to have, we know all of our data would point to, if you look at the success rate of students who are learning from home versus here, is you learn better when you are here, when you can ask the teacher the question, when you can stay behind after class, when you can get the clarifier. And so that was part of the reason that we discontinued the dual platform that we had last year. And again, in terms of masking, if you record this in a month, it might be a different story. I don't know. And so it'll just be, we're going to monitor it. And the thing that we're going to do that we can consistently do is we're going to focus on making the best classes we possibly can so people are ready for college, life, work, whatever it is. So,
do you think like maybe in the future that we would continue Zoom, or do you think we would stay all person?
I don't have the luxury of speaking in absolutes, if that makes any sense, but I would tell you that we, as of right now, the plan's to be here, is to be in person and having our teachers in the same room with kids, because all data points towards that's where they learn best. And that's what drove the decision to not go the dual format this fall. And you hear about, there are still districts out there who kids still haven't been back in person since March of 2020, and we believe we've made the right choice, although as you look around you today, it's a complicated one, no doubt.
Yeah,
so
100%.
I would definitely say, I mean, I'd rather be in school with a mask than at home on my computer and not able to concentrate and stuff. But also with the masks, from what I understand, this time the school board doesn't even have any say in it, right? It's the
So, yeah, we're running on a health directive right now, which we're complying with. Again, I'm sure that you've read the state is contesting the move, and I say this again, I don't know what that means for a week from now, 2 weeks from now, a month from now, I don't. But I would say that, this one was, easy example, OPS has decided from the beginning of the year, and their school board approved, we're going to have the mask mandate, whereas Elkhorn has been optional, and that wasn't even revisited on Monday night, but then on Tuesday when we get a health directive, I'm not saying it takes it out of our hands per se, but it certainly
Gives you a little shove.
well, and it just gives you a little shove is probably the best way to word it. Is we had the choice to comply with the mandate or not, and that's where we're at. And again, that's where I would stress it's all just tough because schools end up in the middle of this stuff, and the last thing that I became a principal for was politics. Like, I had no interest in it at all. It was to be a principal of a school and to get kids diplomas. That's the reason I'm doing this. And so it's tough, but we'll get through. We got through last year. We'll get through whatever this is. So.
Do we have, by any chance, like an estimate how long this mask mandate, or is it just till like COVID cases start dropping?
It sounds like what she said yesterday was, I think she said until cases are down, or they revisit it 4 weeks. And again, who knows how this is going to shake out between the county and the state. But that's at least the information we were given for now. And we will. I think my biggest focus is how can we keep the noise down and just worry about school as much as possible.
Yeah.
That is truly the biggest thing that I'm trying to do right now is mask on or mask off. The biggest thing I want is get into geometry and learn proofs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if we do those things, then at least the best conversations we had at the end of last semester was I had students and teachers saying it felt pretty normal last fall. And I aim to continue to do that as much as we can, fully aware that the world is not normal right now.
Obviously.
And we just have to navigate that.
Yeah.
So.
We just hope that like future like school events, such as like homecoming prom or programs, we'll see how they'll be affected by this mask mandate now.
Sure.
Because we discussed before with Mrs. Fiel how they were going to change throughout the year compared to 2020 and 2021.
Oh, right.
But now that the mask mandate is back,
as of right now, I have no plans to change. We are planning prom indoors. It was fun last year, because we got good weather.
yeah.
But I spent all week thinking, what happens if? And so, as of right now, we do not currently have any plans for attendance at games looking different and prom looking different. Graduation's outside simply because we don't have room in the gym. Like that's a forever decision. But everything, and plus I kind of think people prefer graduation outside, to be honest with you. But for everything else, we are continuing business as usual. And that doesn't mean you don't have to revisit things, but I would also say the biggest thing I would want to push back on is that somehow I have a plan that I'm not telling people. I'm an open book, and if you just want to stop by and hear where I'm at, I'll always be honest with you.
Yeah.
So,
any questions, just stop by Mr. Schroeder's office.
At any time.
Anytime. And the last thing that we really have is just like clothing drives, food drives,
Yes.
any kind of drive.
Yeah, we did really well.
So it's a couple things. One, we had really successful canned food drive in December.
I was gonna say it was really good this year.
And I know that there was a clothing drive that we did have that was organized in November, and then there is going to be Women-Aid is an organization here in Elkhorn that they'll do clothing drives, food drives. They'll donate to families in the winter and around holidays, and it's all over Omaha technically, but it really focuses on the 3 Elkhorn, obviously high schools, but the community. And Women-Aid's going to open up a shop where I think it's right. You guys know where the old Paradise Pet Spa was in Old Elkhorn?
I'm sorry, I don't.
Okay, so it's probably like a block to the west of Main Street. They open a shop, and it's going to be, if you will, don't call it Goodwill, but a similar feel, just most specifically made up of donations from the Elkhorn community. So we probably will push a clothing drive for that. They're estimating about February, but it's always a good reminder of we've got good people here when you see how much shows up at canned food drives and how much shows up at clothing drives, just because winters are hard and holidays are hard and quite frankly groceries are hard all the time, and so things like food and clothing drives, having everybody in school get involved is always something we appreciate. So
I mean, like food drives and can drives, I think the Elkhorn is really good at participating in drives like these because, every class has its own, diversity. So everyone donating to this drive is really great. And I hope to see more like, maybe like a toy drive for like Christmas or something for kids who don't have.
Yep. And I should compliment Mr. Jarzinka does a great job of running the canned food drive.
Oh, yeah.
And it's and I know that just coordinating that can be a lot. And I would always describe it's not something you have to take on, but it's something that we appreciate that he does. And I know that Miss Geis helps him, and I know Miss Milliken helped him too. So I don't want to forget them, but I just think it's well organized, and then we've got a whole bunch of families and students who are willing to help out, and I think that's if you can and you do, that is still appreciated, and that's not everybody's situation that they're able to, but it certainly is something that I appreciate about Elkhorn.
Yeah, Mr. Jarzinka, I have him as an accounting teacher, and he was always talking about it during class and whatnot, but he mentioned how the food bank, or I'm not exactly sure where everything goes, if it's like split up or whatnot, but he mentioned how Elkhorn High School is a big part of where they get their
annual total.
Yeah. And so this year was really good. I think like Mr. Neismer's class, they got like, it was at least 4,000 cans or something like that. It was a lot
downstairs. Yeah. But that's just such a good problem to have, and I just think that time of year it becomes extra important. So, yeah.
I mean, especially now as COVID cases are coming back up, right? It's needed more than ever.
Absolutely. All
right. That was a good year in review for 2021-2020.
Yeah. So it'll be an interesting couple of weeks, there's no doubt, but we'll figure it out, and kids will still do homework, and at the end of the day, that's what I care about.
Would you say your expectations are still normal for 2022, hopefully?
Yeah, as normal as can be. I'm hoping that this spring is like this fall, where we have a very normal looking season. Last year academics were pretty consistent. Obviously we had remote learners, but it was activities that took a hit for sure. So it's been good to see plays and concerts and the events that were outside had a little bit more luxury last year than everything inside, and so winter participation and winter activities has certainly been something that I would say has been good to see get back to normal, and I am out of the business of trying to predict how years will go after these last two. So I don't know how it'll go, but I know that we're gonna do everything we can to make this feel as much like a normal year as we can.
Yeah, because I will say that this fall it felt like just a normal school year. Most definitely, no mask. There wasn't really any Zoom going on, so it just felt like, this is my sophomore year. This is it.
And our absences are up just because I know we've got families who have tried to be really smart about, we're not sure, let's check. And that kind of, where it used to be, well, you get the sniffles, we'll send you. We probably have a little bit more of that, but I would agree with you, I'm not going to lie to you right now, we've got a spike, as I think every high school and every community and every business has. So we're certainly feeling it, where I know that what Mr. Givens and I are spending a lot of our time doing is sending emails and contact tracing, but just the same, we're also optimistic that will slow down, and hopefully we'll all feel a heck of a lot more normal here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Let's cross our fingers for 2022.
Again, whatever normal means, right?
Yeah. So. Normal to us is just no mask, honestly.
I suppose. So,
you want to give us our outro?
Yeah, I think that mask or not, it's going to be a good year.
We'll see.
that was our 2021 recap. Thank you guys so much for watching. Big thank you to Mr. Schroeder for your time. And yeah, you got anything you want to add?
Follow us on all our socials, like and comment. That's it.